Something is odd about Apecoin. But before I tell how, let's look at how it all began. This leading NFT collection, Bored Ape Yacht, has had a fantastic year. In April of last year, one of these figures could be had for roughly $200. Presently, the cost of admission is now barely under the median home price in the US. These NFTs have attracted the interest of high-profile celebrities, and they've turned into a haven for the typical NFT investor. The ultimate internet status symbol. I'm so incredibly wealthy that I'll purchase a JPEG that I can screenshot for several six figures, simply to say I belong in this club. However, Bored Apes have a problem. They're almost unappealing because they're so far out of range for the average investor. Take, for example, Gucci, a really high-end brand. Owning a Gucci piece offers you a small piece of their prestige, whether you want it or not. You may do so by purchasing a jacket that costs several $1,000s and is out of reach for most people. You could also buy their ring for some few $100s. Still pricey, but not out of reach for most people. The argument is that even Gucci has alternatives that are pricey enough to convey status while remaining affordable. If you ever really desired to, you could be able to purchase that ring. Bored Ape is losing touch with reality. $300,000 is simply too much. So, what exactly does Bored Ape do? They can, for starters, diversify. This is sensible because it's exactly what they did when they bought the CryptoPunks and Meebits IP. Yuga Labs, the company behind Bored Apes, now owns the world's top 3 NFT brands. That, however, is insufficient. It helps the brand a little bit edgier and more supreme in the space. However, accessibility did not improve significantly. Something else was required. Something they could offer for a lot less and still maintain their insane high-end brand image. They wouldn't be able to offer NFTs for $10 each, but they might be able to sell a token. If Bored Ape created a token, they could promote it to the general public, making them feel like they were a part of a high-end, expanding, and successful company. They'll have the chance to join for a few dollars, not six figures. They could deploy the token to their ultra-wealthy NFT holders and reap the benefits of the brand's goodwill, generating a completely new revenue stream. It's brilliant, and they accomplish just that. Is it, however, a wise investment? In a moment, we'll go over that. Welcome back to Cryptique, a channel that gives critical evaluation or analysis, especially in dealing with crypto. Everything regarding money, finance, investing, cryptocurrency, and blockchain-related topics including ICOs, NFTs, and yield farming. First and foremost, we must discuss this coin launch. Apecoin is a completely new crypto token. It was founded with the help of Yuga Labs and a few venture capitalists. Yuga Labs now claims that it was not their idea to launch it. In actuality, it would not have been possible without a great amount of effort on their behalf. Yuga Labs, on the other hand, is distancing itself from the project and wishes nothing to do with it going forward, except for the 150 million tokens they obtained in exchange for their involvement, which are now worth $2 billion. It's a little strange. According to the Yuga Labs homepage, they are Apecoin contributors and will utilize it as their main token in future projects. However, comments that they are not accountable for the token may be seen all over the place. Let's consider this in a different light. Consider this scenario. Your friend creates a firm, you decide to assist him in its development, and you inform investors that you are a member of the company and intend to employ his services. In exchange, you will receive a share of your friend's business. However, at the same time, you claim that you are not liable for the company and if anything goes wrong. I'll leave it up to you to figure out what that means. Yuga isn't the only one who has profited from Apecoin's recent launch. A total of 10,000 tokens were deployed to all Bored Ape holders. That's $130 for a single free airdrop at its present pricing. That is fantastic. The token launch genuinely benefited the community. Even better, the launch seemed to come out of nowhere, with the announcement coming only a few days before the big day. It had a trading volume of nearly $9.2 billion within 24 hours of its introduction. So who controls Apecoin if Yuga Labs doesn't? That, of course, is the Apecoin DAO. Now, my preferred way to describe the DAO is as an online community with a shared bank account where everyone has a voice. But it isn't quite that straightforward. DAOs, you see, require some form of foundation to support them, someone who writes the checks and employs. The Apecoin Foundation is a new group that has been founded as a result of this. Some of the Apecoin Foundation's notable council members are significant hitters. You become a part of the Apecoin DAO by owning Apecoin. That indicates that you have a role in Apecoin governance proportional to the number of tokens you own, including voting rights on the community's future direction. This is fantastic. A community centered on the most popular NFT brands with tokens and voting rights open to anyone. Is that the case? What does it mean to have voting rights? Is your vote really that important? It's difficult to prove that it does based on tokenomics. The founders of Bored Ape receive 8% of the overall token supply. This is unrelated to the portion Yuga Labs acquired. This is where stuff starts to become a little shady. As you can see, 16% of the token supply was donated to Yuga Labs as well as charity. If you're anything like me, the first thought that comes to mind is, okay, that 16% gets shared with charity. However, if you read the fine print, you'll see that charity receives 6% of that 16%. I'm not certain if this is a warning sign. Finally, donating to charity is a wonderful thing to do, but the message is clearly written to have the charity donations appear larger. Then there's the 14% of the supply flowing to launch contributors, which is just a fancy way of saying venture investors. Finally, there's the community fund, which accounts for 62% of the total supply. This covers NFT holders receiving airdrops. Is this equitably distributed? Is it appropriate that insiders get around 38% of the overall supply practically for free? We could argue that they are entitled to a portion of the supply for the project's construction. They are deserving of something. But what exactly have they constructed? So far, we've got a website and an ERC-20 cryptocurrency called Apecoin. With around $500 and 10 minutes of your time, you may create an ERC-20 token. So there you have it. The coin is made, and no token is finished without a logo or a white paper. Now you have a fully functional ERC-20 token. And you may say to yourself, well, maybe it's not that expensive to get started. They must, however, spend for future staff and infrastructure. However, we can observe treasury and resource funds included in that 62% ecosystem fund, which will be used to not only offer this token to the public, but also to support future activities. Nevertheless, if Apecoin offers enough utility, none of these may matter. Perhaps we can move past this if they're actually constructing something interesting. But before we get into it, let's talk about the assertions that this token is a complete rip-off. Apecoin was first valued at more than $20 before plummeting almost immediately. As a result, many potential investors assumed the party had already ended before it began. This isn't a fraud. It's just a peculiarity of airdrops. Token holders have little incentive to keep for the long term, so they sell. Consider yourself in the position of a Bored Ape bearer. You dumped $100,000 in tokens in the air. How would you react in this situation? Personally, I'd sell at least part of the tokens. Therefore, a price decline isn't always indicative of fraud. However, when it comes to scammers, there are a lot of bogus Apecoin freebies to be aware of. If someone claims to be giving away free Apecoin, they are most likely a scammer. Don't ever provide them your seed phrase or any other sensitive information that could jeopardize your wallet. So, if you think this video has clarified some things for you, please consider liking it and clicking that bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you might want to consider subscribing to our channel. It'll really help us out. Back to our video. Whether you enjoy Apecoin or not, the price potential is likely to pique your interest. Because if there's one aspect we've discovered about crypto, it's that you don't need a lot of utility to generate tremendous growth. People will invest in it and drive up the price if they enjoy it. Unfortunately, Apecoin isn't a small coin as is. If it were to multiply 6 times in value, it would almost equal the market cap of Polkadot, one of the biggest and most diverse projects developed on its personal blockchain. Shiba is now the biggest ERC-20 coin, with a market cap more than 4 times that of Apecoin. Regrettably, we have no idea where the price will go in the future. On the other hand, we've witnessed how far market hysteria can go. Shiba, for example, moved from no one's radar to top 10 in a couple of weeks. On the other side, utility is required if you wish to have staying power. So, what is Apecoin intended to be used for? Surprisingly, there is no plan or description of what is being created besides the DAO on the official Apecoin website, which looks to operate as their white paper. However, keep in mind that Yuga Labs has stated that Apecoin would be used as payment for their upcoming projects. Yuga Labs recently got $450 million in funding to launch their own metaverse. We don't know many details, but we do possess this teaser trailer which shows their NFT avatars engaging in a 3D environment. Apecoin is mentioned in the text itself. But, specifically, how will Apecoin be utilized to promote the metaverse market and dynamics? At this point, my estimate is the same as yours, not fairly sure. What we do understand is that they want to build a world that is interoperable, gamified, and decentralized, similar to Ready Player One. $450 million is a lot of money, but it's important to remember that they're not alone in this space. Meta is contemplating a $10 billion investment in the metaverse, and Microsoft recently purchased Activision Blizzard for $70 billion in an attempt to enter the space. That's a difficult challenge. Animoca Brands, on the other hand, is developing their own play-to-earn game that will employ Apecoin as its commodity. So where do we go from here? We have a strong brand, but we are hesitant to take on responsibilities. There are a lot of claims, but nothing has been built yet. Here's what I have to say about it. It's not a fraud, but a wager at this point is quite dangerous. This would be a very different scenario if the market cap was $200 million. However, this does not rule out the possibility of a price increase. It's true that stranger things have transpired. However, in regards to the token itself, given how much it would have spent to get started, I don't think token allocations are a good idea. In any case, this is a token worth keeping an eye on, especially once we learn more about the metaverse that is being constructed. And with that, this concludes our video. Acquired a lot of knowledge from this? We recommend checking out our other relevant videos from our channel. Also consider sharing this video to any friends or family members who might find it useful. Until next time!